No testimonial is as resounding as the testimonial Dame Paul Intalen has signed by a conspiracy of silence and inaction since 5 months after Keren died. Is she in the know? Let us say that if any agent of government responsible for the safety of children and schools claims not to know, then they should already be sacked for negligence. Now, we had issued ultimatum last month to Dame Paul Intalen and to Malam Adamu Adamu that should they not speak, should they not take steps to mount the pressure and get the culprits, then we shall call them out. As we speak, I recall that 2 months ago, a boy who should never have died in the circumstance he died in federal government Kwali was allegedly beaten by a teacher and he died. The thing trended on social media. Within 1 hour of it trending, Dame Paul Intalen and Malam Adamu Adamu rose to take action because that little boy was grandson to a political bigwig. But when it came to Keren Apuch Ondodo Akpa, a 14-year-old child of ordinary Nigerians, Dame Paul Intalen, in a hypocritical silence and inaction, kept quiet. Malam Adamu Adamu has kept quiet. FCT minister, very irresponsibly silent. And we say we are calling them out. And we are asking the president and commander-in-chief, enough is enough. We cannot be losing our children, our family members to insurgents and all sorts of terrorist groups. And yet, we will have terrorists within the FCT and some allegedly in school facilities, and the president himself is silent. He has sent his men to do the job, ministers. They have failed woefully. They have failed to protect Keren the same way they failed to protect Sylvester. Remember that Sylvester's own happened, and as soon as Sylvester's death occurred, Lagos, the model city, immediately the government announced the closure of the school. That is global best practice. That is how a responsible and responsive government reacts. But in Abuja, and remember, the Sylvester's case, there is only the allegation that bullying occurred and led to the death of the child. Thank God the child was able to speak. They've not done autopsy report. They've not even talked about examination of the child to know what exactly happened. They want to do autopsy now. But for Keren Apuch, medical reports confirmed a 14-year-old girl had condom inside of her. The condom infected her with sepsis, spiked her blood sugar, and she died. That's medical reports. Incontrovertible about the facts of the medical report. Autopsy report, according to an interview granted to AIT by the FCT Police Command Deputy Commissioner of Police, who was in charge of this case until we took it from him because of steps he took that showed us he was compromised. About 7 days ago, and if you check on YouTube, you will see it, granted an interview to AIT, where he said autopsy report showed that Keren Apuch Ondodo Akpa was raped. The same police. So if there is a medical report and an autopsy report confirming that Keren Apuch was raped, it is even a stronger case than the case in Lagos, because the case in Lagos does not even have an autopsy yet. There is no reason why these ministers I have called, other than the conspiracy of silence and inaction, serving the interest of the elites, will keep Premier Academy open till now, will not take steps. By their silence and inaction, they incentivize rape, embolden pedophilia, embolden the rapists, make our schools unsafe for our children, and endanger humanity and our future. We shall call them out, and we shall ask the president, and we hereby ask him, do the needful, and so that history will be kind on you, that you protected, Mr. President, that you shouted when you should shout, and you sacked ministers for ignoble roles of silence and inaction in making us struggle and gravel and struggle. We should not be the ones shouting here. The government should have taken action. The National Human Rights Commission that we gave a petition has acted in ways that have shown that it's clearly compromised. The National Human Rights Commission 3 months ago got a petition from the Coalition of Gender-Based Violence Responders. I was signatory to that petition about Keren. When you file a petition, lodge a petition anywhere, the first thing, the standard practice is that they meet you to interview you and get more facts, which you cannot distill in the petition. After that is done, they now look for the family of Keren Apuch and have interviews. It is after those steps are taken that you go to Premier Academy or invite them. What the National Human Rights Commission has succeeded in doing is to tell us that they are a bunch of jokers who are compromised, because they neither called me the petitioner who filed a complaint about the death of Keren, neither did they call the mother of Keren or any family member whatsoever. But we have it on record that more than 2 months ago, they met with Premier Academy Lugbe. And after that meeting, they have done nothing else. What more shows compromise? What more demonstrates compromise? The Social Services Secretariat also said it was waiting for autopsy reports. Now, global best practice, and you can interview a medical doctor, as many as you want. When a medical report has told you rape has occurred, you can only investigate to know duration and all of that, but you cannot in your autopsy go outside it. So medical report confirmed rape. Form Pam Joseph, Deputy Commissioner of Police, FCT Police Command, confirmed that autopsy report confirmed that the child was raped. You can check it out on YouTube on AIT platform. He said so. This child was not just raped, the child was raped and sodomized. And it is the argument of the mother of this child, Vivian Vimga Apa, that the child was abused in Premier Academy, where she was a boarding house student. Now, they start arguments now. Initially, the position of Premier Academy at the beginning was that the child was not raped, the child died of diabetes. There was no rape. When they saw that that lie could not stand the test of time and we had been able to show that the child was raped, they changed their narrative. They started saying it was when the child went home for Salah that happened. Now, we are all not idiots. Clearly, if a woman has had sex and we are saying woman, girl, whatever, how long will sperm be inside of the person? How long? You will shower, you will wee-wee and all. Medical reports showed that dead spermatozoa, apart from condom, was inside of the child. It does not take, I think that Salah break that she had was about 4 weeks before this incident. And Keren in school, the same Premier Academy, when we met with the management, they told us that Keren was having discussions with her classmates. You see, when they try to lie, they fall into errors that incriminate them further. They told us, the Coalition of Gender-Based Violence team that went to interview them, they told us that Keren was having discussions when they returned from break with her classmates, and the discussion was, what do you fear most in your life? Now, it's unusual that children will be having discussion and go and report to school that this is the discussion they are having. Some children say they fear failure. Some say they fear lions, some snakes, different ones. But the the director in the school, part of the management staff, said Keren said what she feared most was rape. Few days later, we saw in her Bible, marked at Premier Academy Lugbe, where she wrote, that which I fear most has come upon me. What more do we need? If this case was a Lagos State case, we can assure you that whatever school was responsible for the safety of Keren would have been shut down permanently. What the FCT minister and his colleagues should have done is to temporarily close Premier Academy until the needful is done. And what we seek in all of this is the fact that who takes care of families that are grieving when their children are killed under these circumstances? Section 39 of the VAP Act talks about providing psychotherapy and all. A woman who says, I am big on women and children, and is earning salary from our taxpayers' money, Dame Pauline Tallinn, I am big on children, has not made even the famous political phone call to the mother of the child to say, ma'am, we are sorry about what has happened. The Minister of Women Affairs and the ministry will talk with government and insist that justice is done, even if it's for the optics. She doesn't give a damn about the life of Keren Apuj. But we, as Coalition of Gender-Based Violence Responders, are saying Keren's life matters. Keren's life what?
Matters.
Keren's life what?
Matters.
That is what we are saying, and we will not be tired. If it is only me left, we will lead a one-man campaign till justice is done. But I can assure you, more Nigerians are coming out. Justice for Keren, justice for Sylvester, because as we seek justice for Keren and seek justice for Sylvester, we are trying to safeguard all other children. Remember, in various schools as we speak, there are plenty Kerens. There are plenty Sylvesters. Some will not die, but they would have been damaged psychologically for life through trauma. So we need to begin to hold government accountable, and the time starts now.
Of COVID-19 protocol that I should make an arrangement, they'll bring her to the clinic where I was supposed to treat her. So the next day that I had to pay, that Saturday on the 19th, I had to pay 5,000 into the school account. And they brought her to the clinic. But when she got there, she was asking me why I didn't come to pick her rather than make this. And I told them the school said, because of COVID-19 protocol, she will be in isolation for 7 days when she gets back. I don't want that for her. She said, that's a lie. Nobody stays in isolation. That the girl in the vehicle, there was another girl, was given an exit to go for her mother's birthday. And she was coming home for medical reasons. So I promised her I would go back and pick her after she goes back to school. So when she left, though we had some conversation, she said they were very mean to her and all that. When she left, I called the principal who said I can come and pick her. But when I got there, they wouldn't allow me pick her. So I actually turned back to go home because they said they would take care of her. But on my way home, she called through the school phone and told me, you don't even know why I asked you to come and take me and you're going without me. And then her house mother, Mrs. Rita Abedeji, now told me that I should disregard whatever the matron was telling me, that on Wednesday, the 16th of June, Keren could not even walk to school. She had to be supported by her friends to go and take a test, which she wrote writing, that I should come back and make a lot of noise at the school gate so they'll allow me to take her home. So I came back, I kept on calling the principal and the matron, but they wouldn't pick my call, so I sent text messages to them. Eventually, the matron picked my call and said they were going to release her to me, but it took close to an hour before she came to me. And when she got to me, the school also insisted that they must take a snapshot of my ID card before they will allow her go. I have 2 other children that had gone through that school, and it had never happened that they take a snapshot of my. I was confused, but I allowed them do that. And then when she came to me, she came with her head bowed. She couldn't look me in the face. I brought her home through. She's a talkative. She couldn't talk. But on Sunday, she took ill. By Monday morning, took her to the hospital. In the process of treating her, saw a discharge that was tested to be condom, and her urine had dead spermatozoa in it. So early hours of Tuesday morning, she passed. But before she passed, I called the school authority the Monday, and they came and they accepted responsibility and expressed the regrets of that happening to her. But immediately she died, the page turned, started accusing me of being a careless mom and all that. And it had happened under my care. But she was in school when it happened. I reported to the FCT command on the 22nd, the same day she died. And it's now been a very good journey because somehow information like her medical report and the autopsy report they refused to release to us, they released to the school. We reported all the school had been doing because the principal in one of his interview even said that if they had known there was a condom in her, they would have removed it. But they were seen not to be working. So on the 6th of October, we filed a petition for the case to be transferred to the force headquarters, which it was, and they're handling the case now.
Okay, so now what are you asking the government to?
Justice. Just justice. A closure. Justice so that it doesn't happen to another Nigerian child.
Okay, when you say the government is working to get the perpetrators,
When you say the government, that means the police. Well, let's see what the force headquarters does. But for the FCT command, I wouldn't say they worked towards justice.